What's up, guys, and thanks for watching. This is going to be kind of a short video, just kind of doing a walk around on this bike that we worked on here. You'll see some other content on this as well for some of the other maintenance that we did on it, but just kind of a first of all, just this is mainly just based on the detailing that was done, and I'm gonna stress this. This was not just a detail on this bike, and I'll walk through it here, but here's kind of the the bigger picture, I guess, or high level view of it here, just looking at it. But this is an '01 Wide Glide. It has about 12,600 miles. So it's not got not many miles at all, but it has been sitting a lot. And when things sit, they get grimy, they get stuff on them, and just from oil changes over the year, etc. But we'll just kind of walk through it, kind of the process that I do here. So when going through these, it isn't just it ain't like taking it to a dealership and spending, 200 and some dollars or whatever on what they call a detail, in my opinion. You're not just washing it and polishing it. Okay. I left the seat off on purpose just to kind of show here from the top down. Everything that I do on these is you clean it down to the frame. So, for example, under this seat, he does have a two-up seat on this bike. Everything has been cleaned all the way down to the fender, polished. And when I say cleaned, this is elbow grease cleaning. This is hand scrub. This is not some kind of a fancy special cleaner that you spray on and then just magically erases it. Okay. If you look here, the exposed part of the frame underneath it has been cleaned up and even polished. Yes, even polishing the frame. Even clean up anything I can on the cables down there. And the reason I'm a big fan of really deep cleaning stuff like that is it just helps it last. It helps to maintain it, because when you run this thing some more, when you go down the road and you get stuck in the rain, and that's going to happen, it just makes it easier for next time you go in and clean it. Okay. Just to kind of zoom in here now to get up close, you can see, I mean, we got up everything. I mean, we got even loosened some of the brackets here for the pipes. We got in there and cleaned. The swing arm has been both cleaned and polished. The wheels, of course. I mean, the obvious stuff, but just up in there. All the frame parts, getting up on the transmission, every single bolt. Any bolt that has any kind of grime on it, or grease, or road grime, or debris, or whatever, has been done. Now, this bike does run saddlebags, and they will go back on before I give it to him later today. So there are scratches from that. You can only do so much, of course. But one nice thing I will say is that with these pipes like these Vance and Hines, they are quality. They're good pipes. You can easily swap those out. If somebody ever got this bike in the future and they wanted to keep the pipes, they could probably go to Vance and Hines. Maybe, I don't know. Don't quote me on that, and get new heat shields. But getting over here to the motor. So on this bike, we also did not just the deep cleaning, I'll call it. We did do engine oil, transmission fluid, and primary fluid, as well as a carb swap. So it had been sitting so long, the carb was just giving him some fits. And instead of just going in and rebuilding the carb and replacing a lot in it, we decided to swap it with one that I highly recommend. There's other videos on that, but I'll still put a link below for that carburetor because they just run phenomenal. And you can see there, he's even got a cool little top cap cover on it. Now, as far as the timing to do this isn't a, hey, bring it by and I'll pick it up in 2 hours. This bike alone took me a couple of days just because of all the fluid changes, the carb swap, and all that. Just to clean it, though, I would say you would at least need a full day, maybe a day and a half to do it right. And that's just my opinion. That's just the way I do it, to do it right and make it, because I want to make them the way I would want them, if that makes sense. You can see the front down tubes on the frame were all just polished up and clean. Let's see if we can get down here. These are the money shots, in my opinion. Oh, if I can do this without hurting myself. So there we go. We can zoom in. And for those of you that know, changing oil on these twin cams, or any of these bikes for that matter, where the oil filter is up front, I mean, look at that. It was grimy. It was dirty. It was just thick levels of grime, just years of it sitting there. And again, this isn't the bike itself is in great shape. That just happens. That's not a knock at anybody that owns a bike. It's just that happens over time whenever they sit. It can happen to anybody's bike, or not sit, but whenever you make oil changes. But this thing was scrubbed completely on the front, on the fins. Let's see if we can get underneath it here. Show. Oh, goodness. Let's see. I think that's zooming in good. Yep. And you can see here the underside. It was just caked on road grime, old oil, etc. and it's been cleaned up. Now there are some marks on the bottom of the fins there where you're just hitting things. You're not going to clean that off, obviously. But it turned out very well, in my opinion. We'll keep going here around on the primary side. Looking over, same thing. All the fins on the motor. Obviously, all the chrome's been polished. It goes without saying. Up in here behind the primary, got as good as we can. I have had bikes in the past where of course this is before I was filming anything, where I have literally taken everything down to the complete frame with just the motor sitting in it, pulled the primary off and transmission. Had a 97 Softail. I've got a short of that bike. I just happen to have that video, but I wish I had documented it. But that one was in filthy shape when I bought it, and it turned out very well. And that is something I can do. It turned out very nice. But again, that's pretty much the process. And this, I think he's going to be very happy with this one. It's going to be ready to go. Ready to go. But I thank everyone for watching. I hope this was helpful. Hopefully in the future we'll get some more content. We're both working on some bikes, but also I'm hoping to get something in here for myself as a project, that sort of as a restore, or do some modifications to it and chop it up a little bit. Do something a lot different than this, what I call newer twin cam, which nowadays is no longer new. That may come in the future, but I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe if you can. Hopefully we'll get some more content in the future, and we'll get hopefully have some stuff for you guys to watch.